what's up? This is Clayton, and today I'm coming at you from my comfy chair to talk about stuff again. And today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been building the last few years. It's been a bit of a ongoing problem for me, and that is the idea of recognizing beauty versus sexual attraction, or maybe recognizing beauty versus sexuality. And I guess to me, those two things have always been very separate. If I say, wow, that person is attractive, man or woman, or that person has nice hair, or oh, I love her makeup, or I love the way she's dressed, or I love the mood or the vibe that's coming off that person. I'd love to capture them with some photo, in a photo. To me, that seems completely separate than being like, ooh, that person, I mean, I won't get too graphic, but I want, you basically are objectifying them for some kind of sexual purpose. Those two things are very different to me. And so in addition to running some e-commerce businesses online, I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and I shoot photos of people. It's sort of something I like to do for fun. I like to make artistic images. They're often quite moody. Sometimes people aren't wearing lots of clothes, but to me, it doesn't seem like a big deal because they're still wearing more than you would see the average person at a beach or something like that. But for some reason, this is causing problems with certain people. So certain friends of my wife, certain extended family members, people just really, they think I'm up to no good because I want to take these pictures. And it's strange to me, to be honest. It doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not like I'm doing like lingerie pictures or boudoir or, Playboy or stuff like that. I mean, I'm not. To be honest, you go to the mall and you see these huge billboards of lingerie models at stores. They're selling underwear, like underwear stores. And people seem totally fine with that. And that is the contradiction for me. It's like, why are people upset with what I do, which seems much more tame than that? Or you walk into a beach shop and there's people, big advertisements, people wearing swimsuits. But they're fine with that, but they're not okay with what I'm doing. And so I've tried to sort of drill into a few people over the years to try to find out, where is this attitude coming from, and what is it? What exactly is the problem? Because if you look at my images, my final product, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It just seems like I said, it's more tame than even the mall. And I've got people unfollowing me and like almost boycotting me in my extended family because it bothers them so much. Like they're actually quite upset. And so I have a couple theories. My working theory is that it's not really anything about the images themselves. It's not about the final product. It's about the creation of the images and their imagination of what is going into these images. So, maybe this final product image is kind of polished and it's moody because I like that. And they assume that maybe the creation process has that same mood infused in it, maybe. And so now they're like, oh, a photo shoot must be like sexy time. But it's not. It's not like that at all. It's like somewhat awkward most of the time, and it's tiring, like hauling around lights and cameras and setting stuff up. I'm running around all quick, putting people in these positions, or sometimes they're quite awkward and not comfortable. And anyway, that's what you got to do to make the picture. I think that people are maybe assuming that I'm up to no good with these people on set, which is, I'm just going to say it's stupid. It's just ignorant and stupid because, first of all, there's often other people around, makeup artists, hair. Sometimes I'll shoot in my own home and like there's kids running around or kids are sleeping and we're trying to whisper, or, like I said, my wife does hair. She's a hairstylist. Anyway, it just seems so ridiculous, and it seems like there's things that have to be much worse, but for some reason people don't look at it that way. And, I have a friend and she says I use my logic too much because when you look at this all logically, it makes perfect sense. People don't really make logical sense, unfortunately. But like, why as a massage therapist, like a respectable career, you're actually rubbing people naked? That's totally cool. But now that I'm shooting photos, I don't touch anybody. I am really careful about that. I don't touch anybody. I always tell them what to do. I mean, you got to be careful as a photographer these days. I don't know. So people are not cool. So really, it's funny because if you really take this down the rabbit hole, what are people upset about? They're not upset about the final image. They're upset that I am up to no good and that I am trying to maybe hook up with people. And I'm not really sure how to take that other than it's just insulting. It's insulting to me. It's insulting to my wife because she's fine with me doing it. But then, I also think that other people have all these insecurities. Maybe they have boyfriends, girlfriends, partners that have cheated on them, and so they're projecting their own fears and insecurities onto me. Like, they'll go up to my wife and be like, aren't you a little concerned about your husband? What he's doing? Like, and Tasha's always like, no. Like, what do you mean? Like, tell me more about what you mean. And there's never really any good reason. Or maybe it's just people don't want to say it. Like they don't want to say, is it possible that your husband is up to no good and cheating on you or something? But I think really what it comes down to is the recognizing beauty. So for some reason, people have decided that once you get married, it's like you're supposed to have blinders on and you're not allowed to recognize beauty in other human beings anymore. I think that's the problem. But like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right to me. I guess I separate those two things. There's so much more going on in a marriage than just thinking somebody is attractive. Like all the emotional labor that you've put into the relationship, the trust, the loyalty, authenticity. It just seems so strange that people assume that seeing an attractive person can undo all that. And if it can, then maybe your relationship isn't built on the right things. Basically, the way I look at it is you can look at a person and you could say that person's beautiful or that person's attractive. And that doesn't mean anything sexually. And it's almost like sexuality is more of a choice. It's more like, okay, so now I'm going to take that further and choose to objectify that person or dwell on this thing, or almost like create fantasy type situations. And that is sexualizing somebody. And those are two different things. And I think it's possible to do one without doing the other. And I think a lot of people, especially men, I think it's something that you can be taught. It's almost like it has to be nurtured. So as boys are growing up, they're kind of taught like, don't look at that. Don't look at that girl. Don't look at, and then it almost becomes this sort of thing that you only talk about with your buddies, you know what I mean? And it's just a shame. Because then people actually don't learn how to do it. And you wonder why men are going around objectifying women so much. I don't think, obviously there's people that are just lame and doing bad stuff. But I mean, in most cases, I don't think men have been taught this. Women seem much better at this. They can look at their friends and they tell each other that they're beautiful. They'll like hold hands with their friends. It's not assumed to be sexual. You don't see men holding hands with each other. You don't see men often complimenting each other on their appearance. It's usually jokes. Ooh, nice hair. Ooh, GQ Man of the Year. Like I had somebody say that to me once. Ooh, GQ Man of the Year. I think it's just a clever way of saying, wow, actually you look really great. But no, men have a hard time saying that, sure. Not all men, I should say. I'm just saying, when I say men, I just sort of mean maybe a good portion of them. The cultural man. And then the funny thing is that I think culture gives women license or men, I guess in a man, so a man's partner, culture would give that man's partner license to almost have a bit of cultural jealousy. And that's acceptable. It's like a guy looks at another woman, it's like, quickly look away. It's like you can't possibly recognize that there's other attractive people out there other than your wife, which is so funny because I just don't get it. I don't understand why you can't admit that other people are attractive. And so now that's assumed to be sexual. And it's just it's a tragedy, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And, you know, women have also, and because men are like this, women have the same problem. I'm sure there's not very, like if they looked at another man, or, I mean, I guess I'm talking about a man-woman relationships here, but obviously it could happen for same-sex relationships as well. But like, as an example, let's say a woman looked at another guy, and a man or her husband was, you know, noticed this. He would be he could be upset, and culture would be like justified, rather than question, well, why are you jealous? Why are you insecure? Why is that a problem? Like, where's your security if your wife looks at a guy and recognizes the attractive? I mean, you could recognize that somebody's attractive and think they're a terrible person. So it's not like recognizing someone's attractive means that you like them, even. That's the funny thing. It's just they're disconnected. I'm wondering if this is really what the problem is, and our culture is just really bad at that. And maybe it is because lots of people are cheating on everybody. I don't know. I have no idea what people are doing. All I know is what I'm doing. And I'm just trying to make films. I like making photos. I find the most interesting thing to take pictures of is people. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be sly or do anything. So that's really it. I'm getting a little tired of it, to be honest, and just recently it all kind of blew up again with certain family members that just aren't okay with this. And I'm not really sure what to do because I don't know if there's a way to reconcile that. I can't. What am I going to do? Quit photography just for them? No. So really the only way is for them to, you know, educate themselves a little bit. And, you know, to be honest, even if they do have a problem with it, like, it's sort of like mind your own business, right? Like, that's the problem. People don't mind their own business enough. It's like they're looking around, seeing what everybody else is doing, criticizing them, judging them. It's just like, chill. Different people do different things. Different people, you know, certain people are more artistic. Certain people are more about meaning. And that's where I am. I want to create things that have meaning. And that's why I take photos. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. If anybody has any comments about any of this stuff, it's kind of a heavy topic. Hopefully I hit all the points I wanted to hit. But yeah, if you have anything to add, feel free to comment. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.